Hello and welcome to part 2 of building a realistic tram depot for Transport Fever 2, or Tramsport Fever 2 as I prefer to call it. This is what the finished depot will look like, so let's see how we get there. This is where we left off in part 1, namely a tram depot with a single building and 6 tracks. We'll start by putting down the vanilla depot that spawns trams next to the existing depot. For the spawning depot to work, it has to be connected to a street. So quite simply, I'm connecting it to the street that is in front of the depot. Next, we'll use the same Badische Bahnhof Basel train depot by Hesse James alongside the existing depot, thereby hiding the vanilla spawning depot. I chose to turn it through 180 degrees to vary the visual aspect, but you don't have to do this if you don't want to. As in part 1, it can be a bit fiddly, and I'm sinking it into the ground a little as before to align the height. Now we can add single tracks just like we did in part 1. These are once again the one-way streets by Marc 345 in his Marc's Tram Streets mod, and once again these run from the back to the front. There's nothing to stop you putting down tracks that run front to back if you're feeling adventurous. Next, I extended the turning loop around the enlarged depot and placed an extra track where trams can be parked. And here's the spawning depot hidden inside the new depot building. As a result, some of the tracks which exit at the front are for decoration only, but you could also place the spawning depot further forward to leave more room for through-running tracks and points inside the depot. Here, one track becomes 2, and they will both have waypoints added later on. This depot is in fact a trial for my Spandau 1963 project and is loosely based on the original depot, which also had blocks of flats all the way round, but I'll just do 2 sides. There is a variety of walls and fences available in Transport Fever 2 that can be used to separate the depot from the housing. You could also place walls and or bushes in front of those sunken windows so as to hide them, and I'll show you that at the end of the video. I'm referring to the windows on the left. Next, I painted in some trees and tidied them up a little so that there are no overhangs interfering with the tram's pantographs. Just before adding some lines in the same way that I did in part 1, I'm adding the 2 waypoints inside the depot on those 2 tracks. This means that the trams will pass through but won't stop. Now this waypoint is allocated to line 8, which appears as the dark green line. and I'm placing a second one for the dark blue line. And now let's spawn some trams from the hidden vanilla depot. And here they come. Now, if you don't want these trams to be continually circling the depot, you could always route them to a stop that is hidden from view and define an appropriate waiting time. By copying a trick from real model railways, this stop can be a hidden siding or fiddle yard, even underground if you wish. So to finish, I've hidden those windows with half buried walls, and I've also included a garden with benches for the personnel to enjoy during their breaks. And for those of you who spotted that the geometry of the depot fan, which you can now see on the far left, wasn't convincing, have a look at the beginning of the video. You'll see that I've smoothed out those curves. So there you have it. Happy depot building. Bye.